you ever looked in the mirror and felt like your reflection moved a split second too late? Most people ignore it. They think it's just tiredness. But what if it's not a glitch? What if it's an invitation? My name is still the same, but the man in the mirror is the one living my life now, and he's doing a much better job than I ever did. I live alone in a small apartment on the 4th floor. For 3 years, everything was normal and quiet. I have a long vintage mirror in the hallway near my bedroom door. I never thought much about it until last Tuesday night. It was exactly 3 a.m. when I woke up to get a glass of water. As I walked past the hallway, I saw a shadow moving inside the mirror. I stopped and looked closely, but there was nothing there. I told myself it was just tiredness playing tricks on my tired mind. The next evening, I came home from work and felt a strange chill in the air. I looked at the mirror while taking off my coat. My reflection was standing there, but something felt very wrong about it. Usually, when I move, the reflection moves instantly. This time, there was a tiny split-second delay. I raised my right hand to touch my face, and the reflection waited a heartbeat before doing the same. My heart started racing. I stared into my own eyes in the glass, and for a second I saw a cold, dark smink. I decided to cover the mirror with an old bedsheet. I didn't want to look at it anymore. That night, I could not sleep at all. I kept hearing a soft scratching sound coming from the hallway. It sounded like fingernails dragging against glass. I stayed under my blanket, too scared to move. The sound continued for hours, rhythmic and steady. It was as if someone was trying to find a way out from behind the wall. I realized then that whatever was in that mirror was no longer just a simple reflection. In the morning, I found the bedsheet lying on the floor. I am 100% sure I tucked it tightly behind the frame. The mirror was clear and shining. I looked at my reflection again, and this time it looked perfect, too perfect. My hair was neater than usual, and my skin looked strangely pale and smooth. I tried to blink, but the reflection kept its eyes wide open, staring back at me with intense hunger. I backed away slowly, tripping over my own shoes. I ran out of the apartment without looking back. I spent the whole day at the crowded coffee shop. I felt safer around people, but I kept seeing myself in every window. Every time I passed a shop front, I saw a man who looked exactly like me standing just inside the glass. He was wearing my clothes and my watch, but his expression was empty. People walked past him as if he wasn't in the real world yet. He was still trapped behind the surfaces, but I knew he was getting closer to edge of my reality. When I finally returned home, the front door was already unlocked. I live alone and I always locked my door twice. My hand was shaking and I pushed the door open. The apartment was silent, but it smelled like old damp earth and cold metal. I walked to the kitchen and saw a plate on the table. There was half-eaten food on it, the exact same meal I was planning to cook for dinner. Somebody had been in my kitchen using my tools and eating my foods while I was away at work. I heard the noise coming from my bedroom. It was the sound of my own voice, humming a song I have not heard since childhood. I grabbed a heavy flashlight and walked toward my door. My bedroom door was slightly ajar. I peeked inside and saw someone sitting on the edge of my bed. I had his back to me. He was wearing my favorite blue sweater. His shoulders moved as he breathed. It was like looking into a mirror, but there was no glass between us. He was finally out of the dark hallway. "Who are you?" I whispered, my voice cracking with pure terror. The figure stopped humming and went perfectly still. He didn't turn around immediately. Instead, he started to grow, his neck elongated unnaturally, stretching several inches higher. I heard the sound of bones cracking and skin stretching. He slowly turned his head 180 degrees to face me. While his body remained still, his face was exactly mine, but his eyes were entirely black, like two holes in a mask. He gave me a wide, toothy grin that was far too large. I dropped the flashlight and I scrambled backward into the hallway. The thing on the bed stood up. It moved with a strange, jerky rhythm like a broken puppet. Every time it stepped, the floorboards groaned under its weight. It didn't speak. It just kept that terrifying smile fixed on its face. I reached the front door, but it would not budge. I felt like it was welded shut. I was trapped in my own house with the monster that wore my own skin. I realized I was being replaced by something from the other side. I ran into the bathroom and locked the door. I could hear its heavy rhythmic footsteps approaching. It sounded like it was walking on frozen snow inside my house. It stopped right outside the bathroom door. I held my breath, praying it would go away. Then I heard a soft knocking sound. It said the voice was perfectly copy of mine, but it had a strange metallic vibration. "I just want to be you. You don't need this life anymore. Give it to me." I looked in the small bathroom mirror, hoping for comfort, but my reflection was gone. The glass showed only the empty bathroom behind me. I realized with horror that I was becoming the reflection. My skin started to feel copy and like matted synthetic flesh. I touched my arm and it felt like smooth plastic. The world around me started to lose its color, turning into shade to gray and blue static. I was fading away, losing my grip on the physical world while the doppelganger was becoming solid and real. The bathroom door began to creak. The wood was splintering under the creature's immense strength. I looked at my hands again. They were becoming blurry and pixelated, like a low-resolution CCTV image. I could see through my own fingers. I screamed, but no sound came out my throat. I was becoming a silent memory in the world of glass. The door finally burst open, and the creature walked in. It looked more human now than it did a minute ago. I looked more like me than I did myself. The doppelganger reached out and touched my forehead with a cold, pale finger. "Thank you," it whispered. As soon as it touched me, a massive wave of cold energy flowed through my body. I felt myself being pulled into the mirror on the wall. The bathroom disappeared, replaced by a dark, endless void filled with the silver frames. I saw thousands of other people trapped in their own mirrors, watching their doppelgangers live their lives. I reached out to touch the glass, but it was hard and cold. I was officially on the inside. Through the glass, I watched the doppelganger clean up and broken door. He fixed his hair, put on my watch, and walked out of the bathroom. I saw him go to the kitchen and finish the meal on the plate. He looked so happy. Later that night, my phone was rang. He answered it. It was my mother. He spoke to her for 20 minutes and she didn't notice a single difference. He laughed and heard jokes and promised to visit next weekend. He was a better version of me than I was ever. Now I spend my nights standing behind the hallway mirror. I watched him sleep in my bed. Sometimes he walks past the mirror and winks at me, knowing I am watching. He knows I can't leave. I am the shadow now, and he is the man. If you ever look in a mirror and see a tiny delay in your reflection, or if you see a smile that lingers a second too long, run. Your doppelganger is waiting for its turn, and once it touches you, there is no coming back.